And we'd like to welcome you all to Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden's Writer's Wordshop. Yes, you heard right, the Writer's Wordshop. Back on the air, live in the flesh. And no, I'm not Dr. Gadsden. Again, just filling in temporarily for an outstanding man that has been doing some great things for decades and decades in the Harrisburg area and surrounding areas. One being this Writer's Wordshop Forum, again, created for everyday writers, again, poets, authors, those interested in publishing, editing, again, networking. Again, this is the hot spot to be every Friday night. Again, Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden's Writer's Wordshop. Again, I'm station steward Chris Thomas at the Voice 17104. Big shout out to Dr. Gadsden and Life Esteem Incorporated, his lovely wife, Patricia Gadsden, again, for many years of support, not just in word, but also in deed. Again, it goes a long way and will not soon be forgotten. So big shout out to Life Esteem, again, to Dr. Gadsden and Sister Patricia Gadsden as well. We love you guys, again, from the Thomas household and again from the Voice 17104. Again, for the next 2 hours or so, we're going to be featuring our theme tonight is going to be love and war. So a lot of our videos tonight are going to be dealing with either love and war or both. And maybe you have some interesting poetry pieces and you'd like to share your art, your passion with the world. Again, this forum was created for everyday people just like you. Again, feel free, send us a message right on the comment section wherever you see this video, whatever social media platform, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook Live, or wherever you may be viewing this particular program. Again, if you would like the Zoom links to join us to share some of your poetry, or maybe you just like to listen to some of our seasoned poets. Again, we have seasoned poets that join us all over from Central PA, all the way to New York City, Trinidad. We had some wonderful guests on the program throughout the years, and again, the Voice 17104 is so proud to be a part of this Writers Wordshop Forum. Again, big shout out to some of our seasoned writers. Again, some we have seen recently. Big shout out to Brother Neil Owens and the release of his latest book. Again, we had a wonderful interview with Brother Neil, very informative interview. Again, Neil's a very down-to-earth gentleman. Again, he's doing some self-publishing, some self-promoting. So again, make sure you reach out to him about his latest book. Again, big shout out to Sister Ro Brady for her birthday bash. I saw some of the wonderful pictures. I think probably after, depending on how long I'll be hosting the show, we got to show some of the wonderful pictures. I believe the Central PA area came out in full support of Sister Ro and her birthday bash. And again, I think she was promoting her latest book as well. Congratulations to Sister Ro Brady and all the wonderful guests. I saw the pictures. Looked like you guys had a time to remember. So again, big shout out to Sister Ro for her birthday and for the release of her latest book as well. Again, big shout out to Lizelle Powder again for the Powder Room and some of the wonderful poetry that she has shared with us. Also has shared abroad as well throughout New York. She's actually been to Harrisburg and shared, I believe, down at the Pennsylvania State Museum. Big shout out to Lizelle Powder. She's grown a long way. And we watched her grow, so we're very proud, again, to be a very inspirational part of her life as well. So I want to talk about two events that are going on in the Harrisburg area. This first one is actually brought to you by Life Esteem Incorporated. Let me see if I can pull up the flyer here. Again, Zoom is always changing stuff around, and it's always a blessing to see what they change now. So now where they put the share option, here we go. See if we can get that on the screen here. We're going to talk about it in a second before we go to our first video. Again, this first event, let me see if I can now. Okay, remembering what we cannot forget. Again, as we remember civil rights, a personal perspective of our civil rights tour. Again, Dr. Gadsden and a group of people took a wonderful tour. They're going to be telling us what they experienced and I guess some things that we need to know. Again, this is featuring Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden, pastor of Life Esteem Ministries, and Miss Patricia Gadsden as well. And she's the executive director of Life Esteem Holistic and Wellness Center. Again, this event is going on Saturday, September 21st, so you still have some time to plan to attend. This is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Doors open at 5. Again, they're looking for vendors. They're going to be doing some voter registration. There's going to be some light food and refreshments will also be served. And again, you can find them conveniently at the PA Council of Churches. Again, that's located at 900 South Arlington Avenue in Harrisburg, PA. And again, this program, again, just to give you a heads up of what this program is going to be all about. Again, Reverend Gadsden and his wonderful wife are going to be sharing thoughts and feelings and pictures of their Thriving Together Civil Rights Tour. Again, that was sponsored by Messiah University, and that was earlier this year, July 14th through July 20th. And following, there's going to be a time of questions and answers. For those that would like more information about what they experienced, about some of the highlights of that tour and of that visit as well. More information, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden today or his wife at 717-608-2312. Or again, Nicole is making it happen. Nicole Wilkerson, again, her number is 717-307-8272. Again, this next event we're going to talk about as soon as my toolbar for Zoom acts right here. Let's pull it up. Okay, talking about Nicole is making it happen. Nicole is making it happen. Again, there's a wonderful book launch. Again, she's a Howard graduate, consumer advocate, and a published author as well. Again, she's brought some wonderful poets here on the Writers Wordshop a few Friday evenings. And I think it's about time for a return visit from Sister Nicole Wilkerson and some of the wonderful networking connections that she has at her disposal as well. But again, this event is about a book signing. Her latest book is HBCU Bound. Again, a guide and journal for students preparing to attend an historically black college or university. So again, this book signing is coming up, and you still have about 2 weeks to register your interest and to get more information. And again, you can reach out to her, again, by calling 307-8272. Again, they're going to be meeting on September the 14th. Again, that's going to be noon until 2 p.m. at the Full Circle Music. Again, that's at 2201 Woodland Street in Harrisburg. And again, the zip code on that event is 17104. Again, there's going to be a free gift for all who attend. Journals will also be available for purchase. Light snacks, yes, you heard right, light snacks and refreshments. And again, more information, reach out to Nicole, again, if you're interested in attending, or again, if you want your own copy of HBCU Bound. Again, a guide for students preparing to attend a historically black college and university. Again, more information, reach out to her today at 717-307-8272. So again, I'm Station Steward Chris Thomas, just filling in for Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden. Again, every Friday night, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., right here on the Voice of Heaven, the Voice of Harrisburg. Again, the Voice to the Nation, 17104.com. Again, the Writers Wordshop. Again, they've been with us quite some time, and what a blessing it is to share sometimes with the youth, also with the young at heart. Again, those things that interest them, all things poetry and spoken word, publishing, editing, you name it, journaling, you name it. Again, networking. It can be found right here every Friday, 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. right here in the Writers Wordshop. Again, if you're trying to get in, I'm looking, making sure no one's trying to get into the meeting tonight as of yet. Again, if you would like the Zoom meeting ID and password, again, feel free, leave us a message in the comments section, and as soon as I can break away, I'll feel free and forward that to you, because we look forward to hearing, praise God, your poetry. Yes, we heard it all, but not just from you. So that's why we need to, praise God, have you on the program on this Writers Workshop Forum to share your passion and what interests you as it relates to poetry and spoken word. So as I aforementioned, again tonight, our theme tonight is love and war. And tonight, let's see who our first spoken word poet is. Our first spoken word poet is going to be a gentleman. Let's see. His name is I Am Sir Thomas. Maybe that's my cousin. I don't know. I'm Chris Thomas. But he's going to give us some lessons on love. And again, this is a spoken word coming to you right here during Nathaniel Gadsden's Writers Wordshop.
Every time I hear the word love, my brain automatically defaults to roses. old couples. My beautiful fiance, whom I'm soon to marry. Fat, drooling babies that salivate at the sight of their fists. Because I love kids and night skies and stars that sparkle over the sparks that fly like the 4th of July from innocent teenage chemistry. February 15th, because the 14th is just capitalism, and since love is patient, one should be able to wait until the next day when all the Valentine's gifts go on sale. Okay, that may be a bit much, but usually when I ponder love, my mind instantly computes the happy, blissful euphoria produced by oxytocin. And maybe that's just a way of me disengaging from the hurtful, heartfelt reality that sometimes love hurts. Like harsh words impaling through your soul as invisible Excaliburs of vernacular that can't be removed, sticks and stones worded to break your spirit. It hurts like love reciprocating hatred, rejection, envy, pride, abandonment, and abuse, which oftentimes may produce fear, which may shed light on the dark truth of why we hurt those who love us and hate those who hurt us. So initially, it's more to love, and we can infer that it's more than happiness. So here's a penny for your thoughts, and I hope this makes sense. Since love can't be bought, it's definitely not money, because there's no fruit that can be produced from the love of it, the root to all evil. But it has to be more than that leftover dusty ashtray change we give to homeless people for our convenience. Because subconsciously, most fear inhabiting the house of poverty, which is why most are so busy grinding their fingers to the bone, climbing the ladder of success only to reach the bottom of the totem pole of this Rumpelstiltskin wolf chicken we call the American dream. So obviously, it is more than our selfish and deceitfully wicked hearts that offer heartache and desire immeasurable things that flood us as it beats the life out of someone. See, that's what our hearts do. They destroy. Like in Genesis, God gave Adam and Eve the world. Yet Satan used their flesh to give him reasons to give us hell. And even in that instance, he gave his son, Jesus. A man, undesirable in appearance, yet Lord of all in servant form, one who knew no sin, and before he would introduce himself, his pores cried crimson tears of distress. He sweated blood to resist temptation because he knew his blood would be shed on that cross, yet he still willed that his Father's will be done. Could you imagine how he broke bread with betrayal? This is my body broken, take ye eat. This is my blood, take ye drink. And as long as you do this, do in remembrance of me. And this, before that kiss of death that led him down the road to his demise, beaten, bearing the burden of the cross to be crucified, 2 nails in his hands, 1 in his feet. It is finished, sky black, death face defeat. 1, 2, 3. He ain't down for the count because he rose. He rose, eyebrows of questions as the stone of his tomb was removed only to find scraps of linen. He rose like a tidal wave of grace, beating at the shores of our hearts to wash away our sins. He rose like a beautiful springtime flower pollinated by honeybees. So wake up and smell the roses of our hero, because he rose. He rose for salvation of those who shall repent and believe. And that is love. Grace and peace.
I
Welcome.
like that. Hey, man, thank you so much, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Dr. Gadsden, and yourself, sir?
I'm doing well, man. Ripping and running, but doing well. You know.
Understood. Good to see you tonight.
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
It's good to see you, sir.
Well,
We were talking about
yeah,
your
man.
event coming up on the 21st, and also Sister Nicole's event on the 14th. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you great. Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. Okay.
Yep,
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
yeah, and also tomorrow you guys have an event as well. And we're going to be over at the Capona ourselves. We got a table over there. It's going to be interesting in terms of the weather, but you know, we're going to play it by ear.
Yes,
We'll be there all 3 days, but you guys are going to be at 1421 Dairy Street.
Yes, sir. Actually, at the heart of the community field, right across from the Tri-County Community Action Center, and actually my mother's church there at 1508 Dairy Street. right there in the field. Again, it's an annual event, wonderful annual event, sponsored by
Uh-huh.
Firestarters Ministries. Again, it's going to be almost 7 hours long. It starts at noon and it
I
continues to
see.
7 p.m. And there are dozens
Mhm.
of ministries that are going to be a part that are serving. There's going to be free music, free food. They're giving out clothes as well, I believe, and other resources as well. Again, that's Stomping Out the Violence tomorrow, 12 noon until 7 p.m.
Wouldn't it be great if we could just stomp out the violence? Oh my goodness, it's
Yes,
just
it would it would
maddening
it,
at this
it
point.
would be nice. It takes a little more than just feet action, but it is a step in the
Yeah,
right
yeah.
direction. Unity is a
Yes, it
good part
is.
of
Yes,
that.
it
Yes,
is.
sir.
Yeah, we got to remind people that it's going on. Sometimes people they try to not even read the newspaper, see the news. I'm amazed at how many people tell me that. Oh, I try not to look at the news. Yeah,
Wow.
well, we need you to look at the news because we need to know what's going on so that you can step out there and help somebody, you know?
Sure. Yes,
I
sir.
mean,
Yes,
that's
sir.
a tragedy. Yeah.
I'm sure there could be a
I am
healthy
interested in
balance.
fire.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no, go ahead. I like that thought. Yeah.
Oh no, I was going to say I'm sure
You
there's a
said about
healthy
the
because
healthy
there's some
balance?
people that watch. Yeah, there's some people that watch a little too
Oh,
much
yeah,
news and then they're real phobic of everything.
absolutely.
But I think we do got to stay connected, like you said, so we can be relevant, so we can be a part of the solution versus a part of the problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because a lot of times we either go off of false information,
Yes, sir.
gossip, someone's not telling you what's going on. And so you can't make an informed decision. So we want to go out there and we're going to, help, but we don't know how to help because we don't know what the problem is.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
then the other
sir.
part that you're alluding to, the news leads off with the most sensational. And a lot of times it's just a
Sure,
small
sure.
sound bite. It's not in-depth reporting. It's
Sure.
just,
Yes, sir.
boom, boom, boom. And I mean, I watched religiously, I hate to say it, what is it, ABC World News Tonight.
Okay,
And
yes,
one day
sir.
it struck me, you probably have more commercials than you do news. I said, wow, look at this. I mean, they'll tell you, they'll promo something all throughout the show,
Yes,
and then
sir.
they'll show it to you, and it's like 15 seconds long. It's
Sure. Well,
like, then you just told me that.
that's paying for
That's
the
what
news
it is.
broadcast to be publicized, so they
Thank
need
you.
those sponsor
That's right.
dollars. Sure, sure, sure.
That's
So the
right.
more sponsor dollars, the more fluffier
Information.
your pocket is for delivering the news.
There you go. There you go. And you get these high price reporters making millions.
Oh
I
my,
mean,
oh my,
literally
oh my.
millions, man.
Sure,
Good
sure,
gracious.
sure,
Wow.
sure.
You know, so it makes you wonder, should I have gone to college? I mean, teachers make how much and a broadcaster makes how much?
And a firefighter makes how much?
How about that? Ooh,
I
man, oh
never
man.
understood that concept, but anyway, that's
I,
not a
I
part of
don't
this
either.
conversation. Because I think they're
Yeah,
essential
no,
personnel in
you don't.
my estimation.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, it's just wow, unbelievable. But anyhow, it's all good. I see no one's on tonight so far. I hope we, do
No,
get
it's
the
still early.
usuals come on.
Yes, sir, it's still early.
Yes, indeed. But I appreciate you, having a dialogue with me here. So tell me more about the fire starters, I think you call
Yes,
them.
sir. Yes, sir. Firestarters Ministries again. Pastor Tara, Pastor Michael East again, longtime friends of my family. Also, pillars of the community. I mean, they're very evangelistic at heart. There isn't a
Mhm.
ministry in Harrisburg that I don't believe they have supported or event that another leader has held that they haven't been out in the crowd. They're very
Nice.
big on supporting others in the community about a good work, especially for the kingdom of God, especially when it relates to the
Yeah.
homeless or the displaced or those that are
Mhm.
underserved as well. So they've been very instrumental, boots to the ground type ministry. We worked beside them and done a lot of evangelism on the street, Tent City. Here in Harrisburg and other areas as well, just connecting people with resources. So they created this event
That's good.
to allow the light of Jesus Christ to shine in the community. As you meet people where they are holistically, people don't really want to hear the gospel if their stomach's growling. People have a hard time hearing the gospel, if their clothes are dirty and they don't feel, confident or, good about themselves because of what they've been through, how they've been treated.
Mhm.
So this is an opportunity for the church really to be the church, to be the hands and the feet of Jesus Christ, an extension of God in the world. So it's an honor to be a part. Again, this isn't something new. This is something I believe they're true to, and all the ministries that are connected
Mhm.
are true to as well. Again, if anyone's interested in being a part, because there's no big I's, no little U's, it's just a big us for a big God, trying to let the community really experience the love of God. Many times we tell the community about the love of God, But this is our opportunity to
Right.
demonstrate that in the community. So big shout out again to Pastor Tara and Pastor Michael East for organizing this wonderful community event.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. I got to give a shout out also to Helen Spence and Francis Lavender and all the others that are involved in that wonderful outreach that they do the second
Sure.
Thursday of every month. And
Okay.
they have like-minded organizations come together. It's beautiful. And my wife goes all the time. And,
Wow.
it's a wonderful ministry. And so you have all these different pockets. People always say, well, everyone's in silos. No, they're not. I mean, just like you mentioned, this particular ministry, which I'm not familiar with, but guess what?
Sure.
It exists and it's been doing great work.
Yes,
The
sir.
same thing with the what is it called? Communities of Care. They have about 50
Okay.
organizations that come together every month. They put out a beautiful directory that tells exactly what is needed. So now I'm doing a lot of
Wow.
work with guys in recovery up with the Nassar consulting group. They work with drug and alcohol. So that's where I'm running late today. I'm coming from
Understood.
there. And Aisha Mobley, she's the director of the outpatient. And then you have what's her name? Berhanen. I'm messing up the first name. But anyhow, Sister Berhanen, known her whole family for years. But she is the director of all of the counseling ministries. And then, of course, Dr. Boswell, Robert Boswell, is the founder of that wonderful ministry. And
Yes, sir.
they don't take any prisoners, man. They do a great work.
Wow. Wow.
And
Wow.
these guys are serious drug users and been lifelong. It's just it's a sad state of affairs. But ministries like this exist, and we
Yes,
don't
sir.
always think of them as ministries. You always think
Yes,
they're just
sir.
something. No, they're not really. I mean, they try to put the right, people into the right path, and without saying it, they show it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And you got to show it in order to, and as you
Very
just
important.
articulated so well, it's just the giving back and letting people know that they are loved and that, Jesus Christ does still live in
Yes,
many,
sir.
many,
Praise
many
him.
different ways. And so, I'm glad that you have this platform, and I'm gonna start doing more broadcasting, in fact, because, people do tune into these things, maybe not,
Yes,
all
sir.
the
Yes,
time,
sir.
but
Yes, sir.
they,
Yes, sir.
they,
Right
they,
away. But
they
yes, sure. Through
constantly,
time, people
yeah,
run across them. Sure, sure, sure. I think
yeah.
it's our
Mhm.
responsibility to sow the
It's
word.
amazing.
It's not our responsibility to bring
That's right.
about a result of it. It's just our responsibility to get up, receive what God has given us, and pour it
That's right.
out, just like He did. He
That's
didn't
right.
do it for the likes or for the shares or for the comments. He did it because it
Mhm.
was His nature and His
Mhm.
passion.
His nature and his passion. Amen. Amen. And so, listen, this is the writer's workshop. And for those persons who don't know, we have a lot of programs that we do every month. And, those programs are directed toward ministry as well. In fact, we always work hand in hand with Life Esteem. Life Esteem Ministries is a 501c3, and the writer's workshop is a 501c3. We never ask for an offering in our churches, if you notice that. We are on Sunday mornings and we have ministry that goes from 11 until about 12:30 at the latest. And we always, thank everybody for coming on and we enjoy it, but we do not, put a hand out. People want to donate and give, they can do that, but you never heard that mentioned. You will not add it mentioned over the airways. We just simply do it. And so anyhow, there's a lot of great ministries around. And if you are into writing, this is one of those, places where you can come and meet some people. And not only that, be inspired to write your own book and, your plays, TV shows, whatever it is that you're into, songs. There's all kinds of different folks out there. And it's all free, folks. We don't ask you to contribute anything to this broadcast. We just simply do it. And so, God bless you wherever you are. But this is a platform for writers. And I hope that you will, if you're interested, you can always call me or Brother Chris here about possibly being a guest on this show and bringing your poetry. We only ask for serious people to come on. We don't like a whole lot of gratuitous cussing. Every now and then, there's a word or two that comes out, but that's not, not what we seek to just do. You go to some platforms and that's all they are. Like that piece that brother just did, that was brilliant. And also it was, filled with the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. He was telling the story of Jesus and used poetry and spoken word as his platform. Easily to do, folks. All you got to do is do it. And so, a lot of folks, they don't quite get that and they want to come on and they want to do all this other stuff. But there are plenty of platforms out there to do that now. So use those platforms for that. But for this, we're looking for creativity, passion, and storytelling. That's what we at. That's what we want, you to do. Your poem should tell a story, your writer should tell a story. And that's what it's really all about. And we've been around for a minute too. We've been around for a long, long time. since 1977. And this has been one of the best platforms we've had in terms of, getting the word out. And people, by the way, these are taped, right, Brother Chris?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're actually live on Facebook out live,
Right.
obviously, and we're still looking for those. I think we still about 10 or 12 followers short on the Writers Wordshop fan page on Facebook of being able to broadcast again live from that page. We're just right in arm's reach. You need 200 followers to be able to go live from a fan page
Oh,
due to new Facebook regulations.
you
So
mentioned that before. I need to
yeah, if
push
we could
that
just get
more.
those last half a dozen people, man, we could just
Hey,
keep the brand consistent to the brand, and
okay.
then we could broadcast several destinations on Facebook, also LinkedIn and YouTube as well, Dr. Gadsden.
So here's the thing. My own personal page, I have about 5,000 followers. So we need all those followers to transfer over to the Writers Workshop page. And it's simple to do, right? All you have to do is go to what? Writers
I'm gonna
Workshop.
pull it up here
Okay.
now, here in 2 seconds here.
Okay.
Uh,
And let's just give a tutorial on how to like and share and all that kind of good
yes,
stuff. That's
sir,
the line.
sure. Here we go now.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can. Let me know if this works out well. Can you see the?
I see you. I see. Okay, dude. Okay, you just brought it up.
Okay, sure.
I see
Okay, so
you,
this is
and
the
it's next to
fan
you.
page, sir.
Can you make it larger?
Let's see here. Let's try it again. How about that, sir?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, so walk us through it, brother Chris. What do they have to do?
Okay, you just type in your search engine up here, Nathaniel Gadsden's Writer's Wordshop. Again, there are two different ones. There are two different ones, and we encourage you to like and follow on both. But the one we're talking about going live from, we have 78 followers here, and I think you need 100. You need 100 followers to be able to go live from that page. So you just type in Nathaniel Gadsden's Writer's Wordshop up in your search engine up top on Facebook, and then you just simply hit follow over here to the right hand side. And
Okay.
again, you'll be able to see, all the past programs. The program we did with the gentleman that had the alleged misconduct in Camp Hill. Uh, Author Neil Owens, the interview that I did with Neil, wonderful interview. If you haven't seen it, Dr. Gaston, we did a
Fantastic. Yeah.
wonderful
He's
interview
good,
with
man.
Neil Shore on
Yeah.
YouTube, and it's also available here on the Writers Workshop page as well. So we just need, I
Okay.
think, 12 followers so we can again go live from the Writers Workshop fan page on
We
Facebook,
got
sir.
to push that more and more and more. Then we got to tell people you need to follow the Writers Workshop. I'm gonna make sure I get out to everybody, tell them to do just that.
Sure.
So go to your page, right?
Oh no, not
Yeah.
to my page. Right to I should just share it one more
Or
time
just
here.
say search. Or anywhere that they are, they can just put in search.
Yeah, you just
Put
search for this right here, Nathaniel Gadsden's
it-
Writers Workshop.
That's all they
Right
got to
here.
put in. Yep.
Yes,
And
sir.
then just hit follow. Okay.
This is what you see right here on the banner. Nathaniel Gadsden's Writers Workshop. You type this in here, Nathaniel Gadsden's Writers
Uh-huh.
Workshop, you'll go right to it.
Okay. And then just hit follow. And
Yeah,
that's all we
yes, sir.
need, folks.
Yes,
We
sir.
need everybody. Yeah, okay. Everyone that's watched this program today, we're going to encourage you do just that. And I'm going to do a whole campaign all throughout the week. Please follow the Writers Workshop, So we need you to do. And so we can broaden our platform, so to speak, and more people can see it, and more people can be blessed by it, and use it. Okay. This is why we're here. Come on out and use it. There are a lot of would-be writers out there. I know a lot of you want to get your works out, and we love to feature poets. In fact, I just talked to Queenie Clem for the
Okay.
first time in a year or more. And
Wow.
she is going to do some work with her, but I'm going to ask her to begin to send us some more poets like she did
Awesome.
before in the past.
Awesome.
You know,
Awesome.
yeah. And so hopefully she will respond to that and, make it happen. And the same thing with you or anyone that, anyone that's watching this program right now. You can, recommend a poet, a writer, a songwriter. I have a young lady, in fact, who was going to come on last week, and she decided she wanted to ask me some questions, and so it's a little bit nervous, but she's a writer, and I
Okay.
happen to work with her brother over in UPMC, so she's supposed to call me, and
Okay.
then I given her the call letters and stuff to come on. I gave it to her brother, and then he gave it to her. And based on her profile, she looks like, yeah, I loved it. And her work is good. I've seen some of her work, so I hope she will come on and you know, shake off the cobwebs and the fears or whatever,
Sure,
and just go and
understood.
introduce herself, you know?
Can I make a
Yeah, absolutely.
suggestion? Can I
Sure,
make a
please do.
suggestion? Sure.
Always.
You had
Mhm.
three past Writers Workshop favorites that have hosted very successful programs for the Writers Workshop, starting with Ro Brady,
Mhm.
Neil Owens,
Mhm.
also Nicole
Mhm.
Wilkerson. I mean, they put together some outstanding multi-component programs that were very successful for many
They did.
different, life esteem brands like the Writers Workshop, when you used to have Let's Talk About It and some of the other programs you produced on The
Yeah.
Voice, and you let them co-host in your absence. So I think sometime maybe
Mhm.
in the near future, instead of just having them co-host in your absence, have them co-host in your presence, and then we can all be a part
Well,
of that production they produce. Just a
well,
suggestion.
here's the thing about it. Everyone who comes on is a co-host. I don't know if you've noticed over the years, we've always allowed, I mean, Ro comes on and advertises, what's the name comes on and advertises. I didn't ask them for a dime, they're co-hosts. So my
Sure,
hope is that they will have more, that don't wait for me to ask you to be a co-host to bring people on. I mean, the
that
spirit
makes
is that
sense.
this is an open platform, and all you
Yes,
got to
sir.
do is, you know, do what you do when they ask you to be a co-host, bring
Yes,
people
sir.
on.
Yes,
That's what
sir.
we've always
Understood.
done. So yeah, so that's what I hope they will embrace. You know, yeah, I put my name on it. Yeah, I pay for it. But yeah, it's open. I don't sit here and read
Sure.
my I can sit and read my poetry for 2 hours. I don't.
Understood.
I,
Sure,
I
sure,
give them
sure.
stuff.
And
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
enough
yeah. I
of it too.
promote. That's right, and I promote them more than I promote myself. You know.
Sure,
And
sure.
so that's the thing. You know, I always ask Neil to read and this and that. But when I asked him to coach, hey man, he opened that thing up, brought some people on. It was great. Well, that's the spirit I hope that will happen all the time. I mean, I just hope that folks will embrace that. And I mean that sincerely. You know, I love when other people, you know, take ownership and will bring in writers and want to introduce us to somebody. That's kind of the spirit that Queenie did. You know, when she did
Yes,
it.
sir.
The other person who was the most successful for us was Carter Christopher. And that's
Okay.
when she did it live. Carter brought in more poets, and she didn't have to, but she just did. But down
Wow.
at Midtown Scholar Bookstore, we used to have a feature or two every single week. And they
Okay.
came from York, Lancaster, just all over the place, you know. And it was just a wonderful, she just embraced it and said, hey, you know, and they wouldn't come in expecting anything, you know, in terms of, you know, monies or something like that. But sometimes we would, you know, break them off a little bit or
Sure.
buy their books. That's what we really did. We bought their books. And so, hey, man. So, yeah, I appreciate what you're saying. And I hope that everyone will take that to heart and come on. And, you know, I've invited Nicole on tonight, for example, to talk about what we're going to do over the weekend with Capona. And I know
Awesome.
Nicole
Awesome.
knows a lot of great writers out of Howard University and different places that she's been, you know. And Neil, man, he really is connected and meets a lot of folks. The same thing with Ro,
Yes, sir.
people, you know. So yeah, so I'm amazed that we don't have more and more writers just coming on because these people know. And then there are some other folks I haven't thought about in a while. I need to lean on my girl that used to come on all the time for us. Come on, Jasmine, you know, Lita McDowell, but she goes by Jazz, and she's
Sure,
interviewing
sure, sure.
everybody. Oh my goodness. All the movie stars, everybody's out there, she's interviewing them.
She knows them.
She knows them. I
Hung
mean, she
out with
goes to
them,
every
sure, on the boat with
she goes to every
them.
party with them and everything else, man. She knows it. But the thing about her, she's a serious you know, reporter, so she's done it all. In fact, I'm surprised that she doesn't embrace the political thing again. Who's that little person?
They can't be seen on film, but that's our latest addition to our home.
Oh my goodness, nice. All right. That's fantastic, man.
Sure,
All
I'll
right.
send you some pictures. I have to send you some
All
pictures.
right, all right, fantastic. Well, this is good stuff. Well, you look, you know what? One of the things I want to do, since we don't have anybody on right now,
Sure.
give a lean on some of the
Stop,
videos.
stop.
I like the videos, and I
Mm.
can make comments about them as we go. Let me say this real quickly, though. I am going to jump off here and get the flyer that I have about upcoming events because
Okay.
I want you to know about that. Do we have the flyer that you have for the 21st, September 21st? Can you show that real quick, and then I'll make some
Yes,
comment
sir.
about that? Because I want folks to know that we have a lot of platforms where people can come to our programs and also be a part of the program by reading your poetry or getting involved, even if our time commits. Also, we're looking for vendors. So this is the program called Remembering What We Can't Forget. It's a personal perspective of our civil rights tour with Messiah University. They have what's called Thriving Together. It's a tremendous program, and it's a 2-year program. In fact, we're in the first year right now. And notice that we have vendors. Voter registration will be there too, and also light food and also refreshments will be served, and it's free. It's from 6 until 9 at the 900 South Arlington Avenue, the Pennsylvania Council of Churches, and we're going to have a great time. And we're inviting more people than just ourselves. Pat and I, went in the store with I think about 40 other people, and so they're from all over, different churches, and there were, predominantly white churches, predominantly black churches, 6 on each side. And, we had a tremendous tour guide who did a great job for us, and then also showed us some outstanding videos. We were on a bus, and we went to, I don't know, about 7 states, I think it was, and we traced a lot of the places where the modern civil rights movement took place. So you're talking about, the 16th Street Baptist Church, talking about the gravesite of Dr. Martin Luther King. You're talking about the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and just on and on and on. Rosa Parks, where she sat down, actually caught the bus, and then the Selma to Montgomery March, all those things. We were able to interface with and really get the real story behind it. We met some great civil rights leaders, people who were some of them were children at the time of the march, and then some of them were adults who are still with us at that time of the march, and they could give us a firsthand account of things that took place. Just how dangerous it was for the civil rights leaders who were doing voter registration in the Deep South and trying to get Black folks to be able to vote when that wasn't a guarantee. In fact, it was denied for a long time. We were not allowed to vote. And then when we pushed for our rights, they came with these ridiculous rules, such as, having a whole big, jar of marbles or gumballs or whatever. And you had to count how many were in there, give a guess, and all of this kind of dumb stuff, how many drops of water in a gallon and all that, just anything crazy to keep us from being able to vote. So the history is something that we must never forget what we've come through to know where we are today. So that's what that was all about. So I'm hoping that we can have Dr. Drew Hart, who's one of the founders of the program and also a professor at Messiah University. He's on sabbatical this semester. And also Dr. Brian Smith. He is also a professor there at Howard University. Both of these men are tremendous theologians and, scholars in biblical, literature. And so we're hoping to get them to come in, as well as some of the other, participating students like ourselves to come in and give their perspective as well. Hope you'll come out. Brother Chris, I don't know if you have another video. I'd love to see, the other video that you have, 1 or 2 or so. And then I know a lot of times that between 8 and 9, more people come on, those who are, doing their things. But this is a holiday weekend, so I do understand that there may be some folks who are, planning some big things or have relatives coming over or they're traveling somewhere. Here we go, spoken word, war.
At war, been at war, we've been at war, tribulation and distresses, swore.
You're muted. You're muted right now. You know what I'm saying?
Let me switch that one. I didn't see it had an ASCAP BMI
Okay.
license on it. I don't want to get our video blocked.
No, yeah.
I just saw it was the first thing I saw when it popped up, and I didn't notice that when I listened to it initially.
Okay.
So my apologies.
No
Let
problem.
me throw something else up real quick. I don't want our video to get cut off. That
No,
wouldn't be
no.
good.
Yeah, no.
Here we go.
One thing you haven't shown in a long time, and we haven't done it, we're gonna have to rededicate ourselves to doing those videos you were doing for me. We
Okay.
have got to rededicate ourselves to that because I have some thoughts about that and make them even bigger and better. But they were real good. I enjoyed them myself.
Sure. Well, now we have the technology to even improve. So
Excellent.
I look
Okay.
forward to potentially, we talked about it, potentially working together to make that
Yeah,
happen.
I want to get put together with you on that.
All right, here we go. This is called Dear Palestine, the Voices in Power.
Yeah.
They say there are children in Gaza. I ask where. They say check beneath the rubble. For fingers sprouting like wilted flowers in a dead sea, say to the white and blue, if only you knew. There are keys to this land that are older than you, land where Zatar once grew, where shadows dance, where east met west, where the mirage was set, where Fatayr and Feiruz met Sunday mornings. Now follow the fires. Follow the smoke-filled mosques and the poisoned waters. Check the checkpoints where colonizers point guns in the mouths of children too small to pronounce the word intifada. Revolution. Check the schools made of furniture blown to bits. Check the cracks in the wall where sunlight is the only thing they let in. A siege so suffocating it reminds us we can't breathe. That resistance is a language universal. From Ferguson to Beit Hanine, from DC to Palestine, bodies become battlegrounds when one terrorist group trains another. When child is ripped from mother, and if he resists because he is human, then tase him. Because nothing about this is sacred. This is occupation. This is damned if you left and damned if you stayed. This is lost birthdays and unmarked graves. This is the West births the issues, and it is always your people who pay in their body, blood, and tears. This is when you have nothing, there is nothing to fear. This is not knowing whether you'll wake up to the adhan or bombs. This is what 3.8 billion US dollars looks like. This is erasure. This is rock and slingshot and Molotov. This is your people will never be erased. So let your anthem ring for the world to hear and don your colors with pride green. For your grandmother's olive trees that they raised red. For your uncle's spilled blood and the shattered graves white. For the light that the martyrs see before uttering their last words. There is no God but God, and long live Palestine. Black. For the funerals they didn't let you pray. For the Nakba and for your ancestors who stayed, because this is catastrophe. This is a violent and unforgiving taking, and maybe I'm mistaken, but I missed the part where there were two sides to genocide and war crimes were justified because US politicians make ethnic cleansing appear sanctified. I guess anything goes in this country when it is attached to a dollar sign. Dear Palestine. Know that the people have taken your side and we are here until the smoke clears, until black and white is worn only for brides, until echoes of your revolution have transcended both river and sea, until you and your children and your children's children can finally breathe, until the siege is lifted, until the wall collapses. Know that no matter how many times they try to rewrite the maps, this is your mother's land and this is yours alone. From Rafah to Ramallah, from Nablus to Al-Quds, know that the fire inside is one they can never extinguish. Know that they cannot shackle your rage. They cannot rape your resistance. They cannot murder this movement. Even if they tried, let them know that the old are still with us and the young have not forgotten. Dear Palestine, know that no matter how many villages they burn, we are in this and we will resist until you and your children and your children's children can finally return, and you will return.
Wow. Let me just say I like that. My goodness, did she break that down or what?
Sure. You can't judge a book by the cover, sir.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. No, and I thank God I had a chance to see that firsthand back in the 80s. It was like, what, and we went to Beirut and, saw the Palestinian, people and went right down to the border of Israel border there and southern Lebanon. And yeah, there are people, man, on both sides. I mean, there's people, there's the governments who, bomb, and there's the terrorists, they call them quote unquote terrorists who do what they do, which is just horrible. But then there's just the people, and the people are just dying like crazy, especially on the Palestinian side, for all those children. And they're saying, well, and every time they bomb something, they say, well, we found out that Hamas was using that as a hiding ground. And who are we to dispute it? We're sitting over here, we don't know, It's like, really? I mean, but all those children died, how again?
Wow.
That's just amazing. And then, God forbid, but they had 12 children killed by, bomb from the Palestinian side, killed 12 Israeli children. And, just a tragedy. They were playing soccer or something, And then you say, yeah, that's a tragedy. But wait a minute now, what do you say, 39,000 Palestinian children?
Wow.
39,000?
Wow.
I mean, that's just, and we said it like it's nothing. It's like, man, can you imagine? Look at your precious children. Can you imagine somebody killing? No, I can't
No,
imagine
sir.
killing
No,
my
sir.
children, No, but it happens to these people, and we just like, yeah, well, wow. But that was so well said. She was very, very good. And I didn't catch her name, but she's excellent. I wonder where that was taped also, where she's from.
Yeah, that's a good question. I can see if I can pull it back up
I
here.
wonder
Give
if
me a
she's in
sec.
Philadelphia, some place close by where we could actually have I like to see, and I love it when people tell their side of the story, from
Yes,
their
sir.
perspective.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Open mic experience Philadelphia, PA. That was August 2024. So that was actually this month, actually, August 29th.
Wow.
That was what, yesterday?
That
This was
was,
actually yesterday.
yeah.
Her name is Tuba, T
Oh,
O
last
O
week. Last
T
week,
O
20.
O B A.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to try to, see where she is, from. And that obviously that's a venue where they're doing poetry and stuff. And that was high quality stuff there, man. She was
Yeah, they
breaking it
have a
down.
website here. Say stay connected. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, subscribe, connect with us everywhere. Tap in, follow us on social media, or attend one of our in-person experiences or workshops. Visit us at voicesempower.com.
Voicesempower.com.
Yep, I'll put it in the chat here for
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
They may, because they may be, interested in, doing a Zoom or, potentially down the line, maybe coming to Harrisburg, but maybe initially doing a Zoom from where they're at. Maybe you could even interview them potentially if you reach out to
Oh,
them.
absolutely. I'd love to get them in Harrisburg. We've had so many people in the past and we just kind of moved away from them. But now I want to just say this. Thank God for, the blessings from the various organizations. I want to thank PP&L who gave us a nice grant recently. I want to thank Dauphin County commissioners who have given us a grant. And also I want to thank Aetna Insurance who've given us grants. And then also we just got another one. I'm not missing somebody. Hold on. Okay, I'm missing someone. I'm sorry. We just got a book grant, a real nice book grant
Awesome,
from.
awesome, awesome.
Okay, it hit me. But anyhow, I want to acknowledge all this and pull that together and start acknowledging them more on the shows because they have supported what we're doing. And I got to thank Brother Joe Bedard. Joe Bedard has the American Literacy Council, and he's given us, I'm telling you, well over 15,000 books, probably 20,000 books, I'm gonna say, because in one fell swoop, we got close to 10,000 books once. And that was kind of a mistake, but they gave them to him, we got them out all over the place. And he's just been giving us books for over the years to, pass out to deserving kids. Voicesempower.com. Okay.
Here, I had a picture of Joe here.
Okay.
They always switching up Zoom, so they're consistently changing things here. So here you go.
No, there you go. Just Joe Bedard. Yeah, the man with the hat on. Of course, that's Lillian Bates and Lillian and her crew. They used to come on our show, in fact, with the youth. What is it called? Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
True, True
True.
program.
I want to say tens for some reason. Yeah, True. And True is they work against teenagers being introduced to tobacco. And because once people are hooked on the cigarette smoking and all that, especially when they're young, they become lifelong, sometimes lifelong users of that stuff. It's a whole lot of money, a whole lot of cancer.
Wow.
They're not careful. But the gentleman in the hat, the Joe Bedard, magnificent guy, and this he's really been giving books to everybody, not just to us, but he taps into something called First Books, and his organization is able to purchase these books and do what they do. So yeah, good stuff. I want to mention what is her name? Amanda Gorman did an excellent job at the Democratic National Convention. First off, she looked a lot more mature. She's still very much a young lady, graduated from Harvard University and all that. She's really poised, but she had on a beautiful outfit and then also just brought the house down. I want to get a copy of that poem that she did for the Democratic National Convention. It was really well done. She does a good job. So that's another thought. We'd love to bring her here to Harrisburg. And we keep saying that. And the question becomes, how do we do it? So it's got to reach out to her and see whether or not we can afford the price. Because I know right now she's hot.
Sure.
Another guy's Kwame Alexander's been a real good friend of ours over the years. We haven't talked to him recently, but him and his father have been here many times, and I happened to got an opportunity to room with his father way back in the day. And Kwame now has won an Emmy for his work on TV. They turned his book into a series, and everybody started telling about the series. I haven't really followed it, but yeah, his book is really cool. I had the book around there somewhere, but anyhow, they turned that into a TV series, and he won an Emmy. You know,
Wow.
and I saw him on at least two, maybe three late night shows. He was on, all of the major late night shows, and really did a great job. Speaks very well. Read his poetry, and it was powerful. Now that's not Kwame. That's
Oh, that's not him?
no, yeah, Kwame Alexander. Kwame Alexander. Oh no, that is Kwame. Take it back. Take it back.
Who's that?
He
Who's
looked he looked darker. That's why I said, wait, that's not Kwame. Hold on. That is Kwame. That's him. Yeah,
okay. My
yeah,
mistake if
absolutely.
it wasn't.
Yeah, Kwame came to Harrisburg. We collaborated on something back at the State Museum once, and he brought in all of these movie stars and all these authors. Bernadette Stans, who played Thelma on Good Times,
Yes,
she's an
sir.
author. And
Yes, sir.
then we
Yes,
had,
sir.
George, oh, just everybody. The guys brought in a lot of people. Victoria Rural, who
Wow.
was on
Wow.
one of those, programs like ER or something like that. I forget which one, but anyhow, but it was great. But the authors he brought in were just outstanding too. A lot of great people. So Kwame's been doing it, man, for a long time. Good stuff. Yeah. All right. So also, oh, I did promise I was going to go get that flyer to talk about some other things coming up. Let's talk though about Nicole Wilkerson. Nicole has a book out. I know you have a
Okay.
flyer about her, and when is her event coming up? I think it's on the 11th.
Her event I think was the week before yours. Let me
Yeah.
see if I can find that again here.
Yeah, if you don't know, her name is Nicole Wilkerson, and
Sure.
Nicole is a entrepreneur. She works for herself. She has what's called Nicole is Making It Happen. She's an events planner and coordinator, and she works really well with the Writers Workshop and Life Esteem. She uh, helps us put on most of our events these days, and she just put out a book for anybody that's considering going to an HBCU, Historically Black College and University. And she has done a great job with it too, by the way. There she goes. The book launch, Howard graduate, Howard University grad, and it's going to take place on, when is that? The 14th, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Full Circle Music, 2201 Woodlawn Street, Harrisburg, 17104. And so just free gift for all attendees. And journals will be available for purchase. And she's calling it more of a journal than a book because it's really designed to help any student who's interested in HBCU to take notes, get sage information about the university and how to apply and all that kind of good stuff and what do they offer, So it's a full service journal because a lot of our students, by the way, are taking these college tours, and they'll get on a bus and they'll go down to Howard and Clark, Morehouse, Spelman, all those places, and they'll come back with a lot of materials, but they can in the journal write down their own notes and figure out what place seems most suited for them. Outside of just the pitch, what are the other things that you notice? Is it an inner city campus, a rural campus? How would you get back and forth home if you were wanted to do that? I was accepted to Clark, Atlanta. I would have been right next to Morehouse and Spelman and all those schools. But my track coach talked me into staying in Pennsylvania. But the other thing that
Wow,
really
wow.
was in my mindset too was, that far away. That I want to go all the way there, and then how would I get back? I mean,
Sure,
my
sure.
parents didn't have any deep pockets and money,
Understood.
so that was a concern for me. But then there's always Cheney, there's Lincoln University right in our own backyard too, so that was another thought. But yeah, my sons went on a campus tour. I remember they both came back and they were saying how certain schools spoke to them more than others. They were looking at the social life, the campus facilities, campus location, all that kind of stuff. It means something. You got to know. I think of Temple University that has probably one of the largest campuses in terms of African-American students in Pennsylvania. Probably the largest collection of students would be Temple. Penn State has a lot because they have all those multi-campuses, but Temple is, But anyhow, but it's an urban campus. So I remember, when I first went down to Westchester, and I've gone to Philly quite a bit, and that was a concern. Like, would you want to be on an urban campus? Would you want to be in a more rural? Westchester's a small little town, and I would get right on the bus, go right into Philadelphia with ease, called the SEPTA. So I found that to be a good thing. I didn't have to worry about having a car or anything. I could just zip, and then once you get into Philadelphia, you can buses and subways and all that stuff. So it was attractive for me. But I didn't have to live in Philly. You know what I mean?
Understood.
So
Understood.
yeah. So, Brother Chris,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I know. I remember hearing a part of Nicole's testimony how she drove to all the colleges she talked about to take the picture at the college. I think that was an outstanding. When I heard that, I thought that
That
was
is
very
cool.
unique.
That is really cool. Yeah, when she said that, I was like, what? So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Now, how many of them is it? Do you know altogether?
HBCUs,
Yes, sir.
about 110, I believe, that are actually
And she
called the
rode to all
HBCUs.
110?
Well, I don't think she went to all of those, but the
Oh,
ones that
okay, in
were
the
supposed to
area.
be,
Okay,
yeah,
understood. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
got you, got
She
you,
probably
got
went
you.
to the ones, and I think just the ones that are on the cover there.
Understood. Okay,
Yeah, she went
got
to
you,
those
got you,
schools.
got you.
But no,
That's still
there's
commendable.
yeah. No question. Now there are a number of African American schools who may not be necessarily also considered HBCUs. I haven't quite figured that one out, but I do know that Cheney Lincoln, right here in Pennsylvania, you have like I said, Howard in DC. You have Morgan, and then you also have another school down there too. Which the other one? Morgan and oh, come on, the black school right in Baltimore, right in Baltimore, outside of Baltimore. Um, yeah, because our one relative just graduated from the other school I cannot think of. But anyhow, okay. And I was at the campus there for a play. They had a beautiful play there that starred Regina Bell. And that
Okay.
was the first time I was on that particular campus that I'm trying to remember. But anyhow, it's all good. So there are a lot of great schools. Some of them were small, so to speak. When
Sure.
we were on our tour, we got a chance to see, was it Winston-Salem? I think it was Winston-Salem. There was another one too. There was one school that I want to mention real quick, and this was in relationship to the tour. It had a great history in terms of the civil rights movement, which I wasn't as aware of, because they always talk about certain things, because it's written down, so we repeat those things over and over and over. What the civil rights tour showed us was that there was a whole lot more that went on that people haven't necessarily written about. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. And so this one particular school that was I think it was in Alabama, but anyhow, like Alabama State or something like that. But anyhow, the African American president at the time was, someone who was active in the community, really encouraging the, desegregation of the South and all that, voter registration, and also was partial to the NAACP, so it's part of that. The persons who were the board of directors and all that stuff, and white controlled, by the way, decided that he had to be fired because they didn't want activism, quote unquote, on the campus. So they brought in another black president. This guy looked like he was relatively young, sharp, all kinds of credentials, but anybody that was connected to the NAACP, he fired. Anybody who attended an event that had to do with the civil rights movement, he fired. So if you marched, if you attended a church and they were preaching about, he just came in there and cleaned the house.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
can you imagine? This is an African American college in the deep South where racism was rampant, and they found a brother who would do that kind of stuff. But that's
Wow.
the way it's always done. That's the way it's done.
Wow.
It's amazing. So when we saw that history, it's just like, wow. And they had the pictures so we can see the people, But yeah, that's what happens a lot of times. So anyhow, great stuff. I see it's close to 8 or after 8 at
Yes,
this time.
yes, sir. It's eight now,
Okay.
sir.
Do you have any more videos that you
Oh,
can
yes,
bring
sir.
up
Yes, sir.
at this
Yes, sir.
time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And I have a
Uh,
piece that I might want to read here for those folks
Alrighty.
who Send it in. I'll talk about writing and all that good stuff. And,
Now, I didn't get to preview this one, but this is the Voices in Power as well.
okay,
You think you can't go wrong with the title, but it could go sour, but we will find out. It's called Dear God.
let's hope. You're right.
It can go anyway.
If we
So
go,
if it goes too far off to the left, I can hit the pause. So
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
was
I'm pretty
recorded.
sure
This
we're
was
good.
recorded yesterday too. Well, July 2024, Philadelphia
Oh,
Open Mic Experience, August 13th. It was uploaded. So this was
voices
uploaded
in
about 2 weeks
power.
ago. So this is brand new.
That's excellent. Wonderful. I'm
Dear
glad we
God.
found
So
this. Okay.
let's give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, I come before you with a heart of reverence and worship for who you are. I come before you humbly, respectfully, and honestly, I'm hurt and confused. Honestly, I'm a little bit glad that I can't see your face because I probably wouldn't be able to look you in it. And honestly, my faith is starting to feel a little bit different. It's 2019. Me and mommy just got sick around the same time. God, why? With you, our prayers lie. Did our prayers lie? Are you no longer benevolent and we no longer heaven sent? Our sins not forgiven and our bodies now smitten. God, why? And I understand maybe why me, because I'm not always living the most holy, but my mommy. My mommy stands on unshakable faith, falling to her knees in prayer before you now. She just stands on shaking feet, falling to her knees before you. So God, please explain to me why we, your children, who cry out to you, now just cry silent tears and pray unanswered prayers. Mama. Because it was you who said no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Well, I feel like I'm the weapon because I just can't win. And it was you who said that you would never give me more than I can bear, but I can't bear a flight of stairs without falling over. Jehovah, why? Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Well, mommy can't see, so what's really good? We walk by faith and not by sight. Well, mommy can't walk by neither, so again, what's really good? And I know in thee, oh Lord, I should put my trust, but I feel like I must trust the medication, not my faith, and I ain't never seen the righteous forsaken. I know my faith ain't bacon. God, I really want to believe in you. But you have to give me a reason to. Fast forward. It's been 5 whole years and I get it now. I see and appreciate life different now because I've been low, like limbo, low as you can go, but in you I found hope and reasons not to let go. I see my mom go from falling over to jumping up, and life got new meaning now. And in less than 3 months, when I graduate with my doctorate in physical therapy, in less than 3 months, when I graduate with my doctorate in physical therapy, I can tell my patients it will get better, even if it's miraculously, because look at my mommy and look at me. Yeah, life got new meaning now, and my words got a new weight now because I had to wait and see how he worked it out for me, how he worked it out indeed, and how he's still working. He never clocks out, he's still working. I could call my doctor right now and have him testify like, can I get a witness? So in thee, oh Lord, I do put my trust, and I do trust my faith more than the medication, and I still have never seen the righteous forsaken. It was in my sickness that I found health for my spirit. So dear God, I thank you, dear God. I thank you, dear God. I thank you. Amen.
Oh. Uh-huh. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know, she
Surprising. From the first sentence, you still wasn't sure which way it was going to go, but it panned out. It panned out very well,
oh,
actually.
very well, very
Surprisingly.
well. And I've seen other people. Remember the sister from Africa? She did something like that. She was mad at God and talking, and then she
Sure,
said God answered her
sure.
back, that kind of thing. But no, that was well done. And I like when people can perform it. She performed that piece.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
her
Yes,
body was
sir.
into it. Her
Yes,
face
sir.
was into it, the whole bit. Um, and it's interesting. I love the piece, but it's interesting. What would have happened had there not been a recovery, had her mom passed? You know,
Wow.
what would happen if she, I mean, because sometimes, I mean, I said every day, man, in the hospital, and it doesn't happen every day, but it
Every
seems like
prayer
it
is not
does.
answered.
Somebody, it's answered, but God's like, no, I'm bringing you home. I'm calling you
Sure, it
home.
wasn't answered the way we thought it should have been
That's
answered.
right. Yeah, yeah. So it's like, hey, and you just wonder whether or not the person's faith is going to be totally shattered then, or whatever. Yeah, yeah. We don't want to lose anybody, but the promise is that we're going to all die. But it's like, but not today, God. What the?
Sure,
You know?
sure, sure, sure,
Wait a
sure,
minute.
sure.
We had plans. Me and Brother Chris just sat here and talked about doing some more videos,
Yes.
you know, and you call me home now.
Sure,
Yeah, yeah.
sure,
So,
sure,
but no,
sure.
that was a strong piece. It really was. That was very good. And at the same time, yeah, it makes you think. That's what I love about the poetry, the spoken word, all that, especially what we call spoken word. It just is, yeah, it's just powerful. Yeah. So, did you just stumble upon this site for the first time? This Voices in Power?
Think I ran across some of their pieces before,
Okay.
but I think a lot of the metaphors chosen, I disappeared from it for a while, but it just got resuggested when I was searching for other stuff. So I
Okay.
thought I'd give it a
Okay.
shot, and it was a good shot to take.
Yes, indeed. What's the other one? Ro Bradley always talks about the one that you found as a site, and she likes that particular site. Is poetry. What's the name of that site? It was one that she always said. Now I
That
can't
was
think
the
of
other
it.
kids that were kind of real.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, that
Uh,
was the one. That's the Brave New Voices.
yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, I
Yes,
really
sir.
like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah. But you're right, a lot of the Black Power, kind of thing, yeah. But there was another one that you brought up, though. Wow, I had it on the tip of my tongue, and I was going to say it to you. Have we visited that site in a while? You found some really strong voices on that one too. But anyhow, you do a great job of bringing that stuff up, man. Great job. And you're right. If you don't listen to them, you don't know by the title which way it's going to go. I mean, a person can be cussing God out or something. You put that on there. Like, what? You never know. But good stuff. What's going on with this transition for a minute here? What's going on with the station itself? Any new developments? Any new
Um,
programs on?
Sure, sure, sure. We're actually doing a lot of we're throwing up a lot of coats of paint. Working on the infrastructure, representing the voice to the community. Updated our computer system, updated our mics. We're actually about to put a 72-inch LED fireplace in the back behind where our clients sit and broadcast. I didn't
Okay.
realize how big it was until it was delivered by Amazon to my house. It had been in my front room 2 weeks. I have to hire a
Wow.
guy to help me take it. I thought
Wow.
72 inches, but you think 72 inches almost 5 foot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I'm sure you've seen them in the fancy restaurants, and different colored
Yes, I
rocks, and
have.
different colored fire, and all that. But
Uh,
it's a 72-inch fireplace I think is going to change the whole atmosphere and the ambiance of the studio.
that's really
Uh,
good.
so we're still alive. We're still doing good. VoiceTV.org is still up and thriving. We still got about maybe a dozen customer created channels. The Writers Workshop is still on point 24/7, 365. Also, Life Esteem. I probably need to add some new content. But
Yeah.
there's so much content on there. Unless you watch it back to back, it seems like it's not repeating, but there
Yeah.
is some repeating content because I need to add some new content. But we're
Yeah.
still up doing well. I'm not at the studio as much as I used to be, but I thank God for the liberty to be able to work at home, work from home,
Good.
and still follow my dream and follow my passion. It allows me to find that balance of being a businessman and also a parent and a father. So I'm not absent from home, always work, 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 work. So I
Mhm.
found that, or God has allowed me to find that balance of, being a businessman, but also being a father and a husband. And I really appreciate it. I'm never bored at home. There's always, actually, let me tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
We moved in. You were at our home. We moved into 2 years ago, coming up in
Mhm.
December. When we moved in, we inherited a whole basement full of junk. But my wife bought me a pool table because the first thing I got rid of when I moved out my bachelor house was my pool table, which was my one of my most cherished possessions. With the
Wow.
videotapes and all the different sticks and everything. I mean, I used to be a pool enthusiast, but when I was getting married, we had no space for it, so I sold it. Long story short, when we moved in here, my wife found one for a good deal. We picked it up, but it was stored in the basement because I had a basement full of junk. Now, this
Uh,
past 3 weeks, I got a vision. I'm going to get down here. I'm going to clean this mess up no matter how long it took me. It took me 3 8-hour days. I went down there 2, 3 in the afternoon. I'd be down there 10, 11. Wife be like, "You coming up to eat? Coming up to eat? Coming up to eat? Coming up to eat?" You're supposed to get water. Talk to my daughter, my other daughter here. You can say hi to her.
yeah. Hey, how you doing? Good seeing you. How's school going for you? All right. What's your favorite subject? All right. Wonderful. That's great. You're getting
Fight with
tall.
her. She wants this versus that water. She's supposed to be getting water. This is it. No more juice till you drink some water. How important is drinking water, Dr. Gasson? Please tell
It's
this young
very
lady.
important. That's right. You got
I
to
keep
drink
telling
water.
her it isn't that I don't want her to drink juice, but I mean, we're made up of a good percentage of water, and our body
That's
doesn't
right.
function correctly unless we get it. None of us really hit the mark, but we
That's
should at least
right.
try to get halfway there or a quarter of a way there every day.
Absolutely. And you don't want to have all that sugar in your system all the time.
No, it's not. That's why you're up to two. Well, anyway, that
Yeah.
Jack in the Box syndrome. Go to bed, and you get up to go to bed, and she's still up. What?
Uh,
All right, Mona. All right.
we're great as shit
Yeah.
now, Chris.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. She's in
We're
our
great as
fourth,
shit
right?
now.
Fourth, yes, sir. Fourth. She just started fourth a few
Fantastic.
days ago,
That's a good
beginning of the
grade.
week.
Yeah, it's good. Man, oh man, time flies. Mhm.
I had to sample it for
That's right.
her.
Yeah, just say
Yeah,
do as
she's
I
actually
say
got.
now.
Oh, but let me finish telling the story about the pool
Yeah.
table. So long story short, three evenings I spent. All right, guys, I'm on the air. I'm on the air. All right, 3 days I spent 8-hour days down the basement, determined after about 22 bags, big garbage bags of just trash and stuff that, has just been
Yeah.
old, collecting dust, old paperwork. My mom used to do taxes for a living. And so
Okay.
she had boxes and boxes and boxes of old taxes from the
Wow.
80s and back and way back. Just
Yeah.
stuff taking up space. Anyway, long story short, I got all this stuff up and I finally got my pool room set up in the basement.
Go ahead,
And I
man.
am just so ecstatic. I found a nice stained glass pool light. They normally
Wow.
cost hundreds of dollars. I found it on Facebook. I went down to Chambersburg, $25. It was brand new. A gentleman
Come on.
got one with a pool table he bought, and he already had one hanging, and he didn't want to take the one he hanging to put the new one up. So he just wanted to get rid of the one, and it was brand spanking new. And I'm just
Man.
so, proud that finally, I was inspired enough to put action to my words of wanting to do that because it was down there
Fantastic.
deteriorating and the junk wasn't going to disappear, and I really just need to dedicate some time to get down there and do it. It took hours and hours, and I'm almost 24 hours, but it was a
Yeah.
well invested 24 hours to now see the
Fantastic.
result now.
That's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Great. I'm glad you got it hooked up. It takes work,
Sure.
but guess
Oh man,
what?
you have to come on down. I'll bring you down there sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to get down there, man. Look, I love pool. Yeah.
Oh, you used to
Yeah.
play back in the day?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay,
My uncle
okay.
has a beautiful table. My
Wow,
cousin, he
wow.
had a wonderful table at the time.
Yes,
As
sir.
kids, we always had a smaller,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
make
yeah.
believe table. But my
Yeah,
uncle had
yeah. It was
full
yours though, so
size.
that's all
Yeah,
that matters.
yeah, that's right. We have fun though. But yeah, man, I love pool. Pool's a good game, great game. And
Sure.
even when we take the kids, we took the kids, the students to where were we up in Boston, and we were up there. Was it Boston? I think it was Boston. But anyhow, we had a good time because they had the pool tables down in the lobby,
Oh,
and
okay.
everybody was down there shooting and doing all.
Wow,
Yeah, good time,
wow.
good time. Me and brother Kaba, everybody.
Sure, sure, sure. How
Yeah,
is Kaba? Haven't seen him for a bit.
he and I talked maybe 2 weeks ago. He seems to be doing good. They had a
Okay,
wonderful time out in Las Vegas, and
okay.
they took, I
Family
think,
vacation or business or both?
oh no, that was the AXO
Oh, okay, okay,
program.
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And one of our students won a $10,000 scholarship
Yes, sir.
to college, and the others just participated and had a great time. So, and my wife and I didn't go because we went on this other trip. And so, but we had a, great time. But yeah, man, Cobb's doing okay. He's doing all right.
Awesome,
You
awesome,
know, he's
awesome.
been doing it so long now. Like he's getting a little, how long am I going to do this kind of thing? He's been doing it since the late '90s. So
Wow,
yeah, he's put in a good
wow.
25 to
Almost
30
two
years with
decades.
this
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
indeed. So
Succession
it is
planning is
what
so
it is.
very important. I mean, our work, that we invest our life in cannot stop with us. So it's
No,
so very important. It's hard to find, the right person. I think that's why Solomon said, King Solomon, vanity, vanity, meaningless, meaningless. You store up
that's
all
right.
this, and then you will it down to someone that isn't as wise, and they squander it all away. What took you a
All the way.
lifetime to achieve, and then you're
That's
like,
right.
that was meaningless.
Yeah, yeah,
But uh, it's so very important to leave behind, a nice legacy,
it
for
is.
our children, and our
It
work
is.
cannot stop with us. So it's good to find
No, not at
someone we
all.
could pass
Not
the
at
torch
all.
to.
That's right. That's right. And even if you don't necessarily pass the torch to that person physically, there's so many people that are inspired by you that
Yes,
you were the
sir. Yes,
catalyst to
sir.
do it.
Yes,
So they
sir.
go out and, you say, well, how did you come up with this? And they say, well, and then next thing you know, that your name comes up because
Wow.
you were the person planted the seed.
Yes,
It
sir.
is what
Yes,
it
sir.
is. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
yes, all we can do is the best we can do, thanking God for all of it, and then moving on down the line. I know that you'd hope that your children will follow in your footsteps, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They got to create their own. But guess what? There's the family that you're born into, the family that you create, the family that adopts you, and the family that you adopt. So there's all kinds of different families, and
That
you have to
that's
know, yeah,
good.
yeah,
That reminds me of the story that Jesus told when his mother was at one. I guess he was preaching somewhere, and the disciples like, "Your mom's here, your mother's here," and he's like, "I have plenty of mothers here."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And the
yeah.
priority is just isn't one person. I
That's
got a
right.
whole bunch of
That's
mothers
right.
here. So
Yeah,
I think that's so very important
it
as well.
is. It
So
is. I was talking the other day about the story with Will Smith and his little son played
okay,
this guy who what's the name of that story? I forget the name of it, but it was a great movie, and I got a chance to hear the actual person that he was portraying. And the guy said, Will Smith did a fantastic job. It was a great movie, and oh, I almost had the name of it, but anyhow. He said, but remember though, in that movie, Will Smith's son was almost 10 years old. He
yes,
said, my
sir.
son literally was 2 years old when I was doing the same exact thing that Will
Wow.
was doing. He said, the other thing that the show didn't really talk about is that the people who raised his son while he was out there trying in the pursuit of happiness, I think that's what it was
Yes,
called.
sir. Yes, sir.
And so he was trying to, get that machine working and get this job and become a big time exec. He said, there were prostitutes who raised my son. They watched over him. They took, made everything. He said, "There's no way I could have done what I did without those women stepping up." He said, "Now people call them prostitutes based on what they did. He said, "But to my child, they were like a whole group of mothers who came. He said, I never had one concern about them being absent, about the kid being not taken care of, anything like that." He said, "There's women." He said they had you'd be surprised who God uses, and takes you back to Gomer and in the Bible and
The
why
prostitute.
the prostitute and why in the world would he ask Hosea to marry her?
Because he's married to an unfaithful bride.
There you go.
God's married to an unfaithful bride.
Us,
So yeah,
us.
that was actually a prophetic statement. Married now, it sounds stupid. Why would he have a married prostitute?
Yeah,
Well, he's married to the backslider, which is a prostitute cheating on him. So
there you go. There you go. And
yeah,
so that was
yeah.
my sermon on Sunday, in fact. And
Wow.
but the issue is, he said, "Hey, man, yeah, but I mean, it's a beautiful story, and all that was." He said, "But remember, there were other factors here. My son was only 2. He wasn't able to go around and do this here and ask questions like that. No." He said, and literally, the people stepped up. He said, "I would like to say, oh, they were virtuous women, this and that." He said, "No, this is exactly what they were." He said, and never had one worry about my kid being malnutrition, left alone, anything like that. I
Wow.
mean, they treated
Wow.
him like he was gold, and they
Wow.
all were in on it. They were all in on it. And so he said, it's amazing how you can see somebody, you can just totally judge them. You just, oh. He said, but then God said, really? I mean, that's all you see? Yeah, that's all I see. Well, too
Wow.
bad for
Wow.
you.
What
Because he
sure.
sees the whole deep inside of all of us. And
Yes, sir.
anyhow,
Yes.
powerful, powerful, powerful. Yeah, yeah. He was a tremendous storyteller. This guy was really impressive. And I remember thinking, shoot, they should have had him play the role. Because Will did a heck of a job. He really did. But this guy was real, man. He broke that stuff down. Beautiful speaking voice, and all the struggles, but he believed. He believed.
Didn't he
Anyhow,
play Ali too?
huh?
Didn't he play Ali too? Will Smith.
Oh yeah. He did a great job in Ali.
He's played some great roles. You
Oh
got
my
to take your
goodness,
hats
yeah.
off to that.
He got nominated for an Oscar, and some woman, I forget who it was, one of the big stars, or whatever, was saying that he didn't deserve an Oscar nod for that, and blah blah blah. And I said, "Are you kidding me?" And then some people around here, they were like, "Oh, dude, I thought he was fantastic as Ali. I thought he did
Sure,
a great
sure,
job."
sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure.
people tend to hate, but if you're too successful, folks want to tear you down.
Sure, sure, sure,
Let me
sure,
say
sure.
this here:
Because that
LeBron
makes, go
James.
ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick, LeBron James is one of my favorite athletes in the sense that this guy literally came straight out of high school, made it into pros. You haven't heard about one scandal. He has his wife, he has his children. He gave over, they said, $46 million to 100 and what is it, 1,500 kids are going to go to college for free because he gave some 46 million. Some people says estimated is actually going to be 65 million by all the time. But he dedicated that money. Is gone. He opened up a school in a most depressed neighborhood which is from Cleveland. They said, and in 1 year, 2 years, I think it's been open for 3 years. Well, the scores aren't as high, and they were like, "Really? You trying to criticize?" I mean, first off, his scores. He's taking the worst kids. Everyone else abandoned these kids. Everyone else is charter school, this and that. He said he went to the worst of the school, and he's invested his money. These kids have a future in front of them now. You're not going to have a miracle happen overnight. That's fairy tale stuff.
Sure, sure.
He said, but the guy's invested. And then not only that, you do realize that he had all these high-powered executives with degrees. And he said, you know what? You guys did a great job. Thank you. But I'm going to get my homeboys from Cleveland. Some of them I played ball with, some of them I just met. I'm going to give them an opportunity. The one
Wow.
guy that he gave that became big, they just had him on 60 Minutes. This guy never went to college. He was a street hustler. He was a young kid out there, selling drugs and doing different things, trying to make it. But he happens to run into this high school phenom named, LeBron James, who looked at him one day and said, "Hey, man, where you get that jersey from?" And it was a football jersey. And Bron said, "Man, I'd like to get that jersey." So they started talking in the airport, you know. And next thing you know, they became friends, and LeBron remembered him. And LeBron said to him
Wow.
one day, "I would like you, man, why don't you come and join my team? I'd like you to." And the guy was like, "Well, what do I do?" And he started breaking it down for her. Here's what you do. You do what you did on the streets, but you do it over here. He said, "I just need people around me I can trust." That guy now is the hottest agent in all of Hollywood,
Wow.
making millions. They said, "How
Wow.
did he do it?" LeBron, gave him the opportunity. He meets all these people. He said he was just natural. He said, "I talk to them the way I talk to, guys on the street, man. Just, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah." He said, but he finally got one client, and the client was a high school basketball phenom. I never heard this guy, but anyhow, he was asking for $35 million. And they said the contract, he said, "No, we're not going to settle for 35 million." He said, "We should get more." And they was like, "Well, what?" He said, "Man, who is this guy?" He said, "Well, he's my agent." He said, "Well, who else does he have?" Because no one ever heard of this guy. And so everybody laughed at him. They said, "Man, that he's going to ruin your career." He ended up getting that guy $75 million from the same team to offer him 35 million.
Wow.
Everybody said,
Wow.
"What?" And next thing you know, everybody's running to him. And now he has more clients than anybody in the NBA. Think about that. And he's just a guy that came off the street, said, "I'm gonna clean myself up." He's also
Wow.
now engaged to, someone said they got married. Adele, the singer Adele,
Okay, yes, sir.
white singer from England. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
him and her are now engaged and this and that. It's an incredible story. LeBron has taken all these guys around him and just gave them the opportunity, and they all thrived.
Wow.
And no one's talking about that. He's opening up
Wow.
schools. So he's not out here drinking and drugging. He's not out here. So when you read stuff on the internet, it's always negative. "Oh, he ain't nothing. He's this, he's that." Well, folks, why? Why do we have to do that to one another? It's just crazy. Well, who's the better, LeBron or Michael Jordan? First off, Michael didn't do it. Michael is doing stuff now, but Michael's mother was the one who did anything that he ever did. He didn't want to be bothered.
Sure.
That's just a true statement. And then this guy who wanted to interview Michael, because Michael had the sneakers, everybody's buying the sneakers, right? But Michael had no interest in that. Magic Johnson was the one that gave him the idea. And they said, well, Magic's cool, but man, we need to get Michael Jordan. Michael said no. His agent finally said to him one day, Michael, all you got to do is this. Go to Seattle, Washington. They're going to take a mold of your foot, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. And he said, well, what's in it for me? Of course, he's going to get this, you know. And they were looking to make $10 million off of the sneaker. They said, Jordan, we're going to call it the Air Jordan, you know, and they're going to make $10 million. In the first quarter of the year, they made 55 million or something like that. And they're like, what? These kids were going crazy over the Jordan,
Sure,
killing each
sure.
other, fighting each other over these Jordans, right? Grown men doing the same thing. Everybody
That's
had to have the Air Jordans, you know. Incredible. And what did they do? They're charging $185. Then they went up to 200. Now there's some grown men who, you know, they got
Oh, five, six, $700, Dr.
all
Gadsden.
the time. And then and 15 to 20 pairs of shoes. 15 to 20 pair, bro. It's
Three,
like,
four,
wait a
five
minute.
hundred dollar pair of shoes. Sure. Made in
Thank you.
China.
Yeah, made in
Made in
China.
China.
And you remember Marbury, Stefan Marbury stepped up and said, I'm going to take the same sneaker and I'm going to call it the Marbury. Now
Sure.
remember, it's the same sneaker and I'm going to charge $25. And the kids laughed at that. And this guy was serious. He played for the New York Knicks. And now he's over in China and he's become the biggest star in China, all that stuff. But the
Wow.
point is, he said, it's the same sneaker. He said, folks, he said, I'm telling you, the material, he said, they don't have to charge that much. I'm going to settle for 25. And he had to
Wow.
bribe his kids to buy them. And the kids were like, I ain't buy no more berries, man. Them things are cheap. No, they weren't.
The
He kept it
same
over and
sneaker.
over. Same sneaker.
I
So,
heard a story, not to interrupt you, very similar to that. I'll make it brief.
no, go ahead.
It was about eyeglasses, designer glasses that you
Yeah,
go, because we just went and got our eyes checked. I'm not going to say where, but anyway, we just went and got
Billy.
our eyes checked. When you look at frames, there's no way frames without lenses are $275. But the person was saying that it was a whole documentary that they did. All the glasses are pressed at the same place, and they'll take these glasses, send some to Calvin Klein, they'll send some to Gucci, but then they'll send some to Joe Smith, and Joe Smith will put his name on. Joe Smith's will go for $15, but because they put Gucci or because they put Calvin Klein CK on the side, they would charge $275 for the same thing that Joe Smith is charging $15 for. It's the same glasses, but you're paying for the label, the logo that they put on the side. So they were
Unbelievable.
talking about how much
Yeah.
of a scam. 'Cause it's amazing, the frames alone are $275, and then you get the lenses in them. It's $400, $500, $600. But anyway, it speaks to the same thing that you're talking about the sneakers. It's the same pair of sneakers, and you're paying for
It
someone
is.
else's name put on it.
That's all it is, man. That's all it is. And then, these kids are out here, I mean, struggling. These mothers and fathers really are out here struggling to get these kids these sneakers. And sometimes they can't afford it, but, they're going to do everything they can. And one of the worst scenes was in the summer back, about 2 years ago, when George Floyd was murdered. And they showed all of the protests going on. All of a sudden, they switched over to Philadelphia, and all these kids were running into this sneaker place and stealing sneakers. The cops would go around the corner. They were all standing there. Now, the helicopter is showing you this. And they said, all the kids, they arrested some of them, they grabbed some of them, but most of the kids ran out. So now the cops, they said, they go around the corner again, and the kids come back. They know the cops are there, but they figure they're going to run in, they're going to grab as much as they can, and then run out again, and maybe I won't get caught. And that's what they started focusing on. It was no longer about George Floyd. It was about these kids stealing these
Wow,
sneakers.
wow,
And it's like,
wow,
why you what are you doing?
wow,
I mean, just breaking the glass, going in there. They
wow.
showed one store where they were stealing jewelry and stuff, and the owner told them the staff to step back. And so the guys would run up there. They were just taking it. They said, "Don't try to stop them." Enough. They called the cops for it. That's about it. Don't try to stop them. They might have a gun or something like that. So they just moved out the way, and the kids were just taking everything. And I'm like, come on, man.
Wow.
But they show that and really concentrate on that crap. You know, there was a time if you watched the NFL football, people used to run across the field, a streak or something like that, or
Yes,
whatever.
sir. Yeah,
And
publicity
next thing you
stunts.
know,
Sure.
they stopped showing it. They said we're
Wow.
not because it encourages them to do it. So we're not
Sure,
going to show those
sure,
people doing that.
sure,
They just put the
sure.
cameras away. So I'm saying do the same thing when it comes down to the protest. Now you
Wow,
got these clowns running here
wow,
grabbing
wow,
sneakers. No,
wow,
we're not going to show that, you know.
wow.
No, we will tell you that it's happening, but we're not going to show because it inspires people to want to come out and do that, you know. And
That's what
that's
they call a
exactly what
lot of
they
people.
do.
A lot of people call them false flags, where
That that
it takes your attention away from what you should be focusing on. So they'll look over here real quick to take your
that's it.
attention over the billions missing from the government. Look over here real quick.
That's
Look
it.
who
That's
this
it.
person's sleeping with. Oh, the
Yeah.
president said this, and and
Yeah.
all the while there's billions of dollars that just got took somewhere.
Amen. Amen. And you know who's a master at that? Yeah. Trump. Trump is a
Yes, sir.
master
Yes,
at
sir.
talking about
Yes,
all
sir.
the negative
Sure.
stuff, calling names, this and that. He died. He said that he called out a couple states just this yesterday, and they've been playing it all day. He said that they are not only are they for abortion, they'll take it all the way up to the ninth month. And then he said, and then in some states, and he mentioned two states, he said they can even execute the baby once the baby's born. And the reporter came back and said, "What?" Said there's no state in America that is allowing a baby to be born and then they execute him or go up to 9 months. He said that's just lies. But he says it so easily. And then the people who are voting for him, they believe this guy.
Right,
It's
right,
like,
right.
now wait a minute. How can you be that stupid? How can you be that stupid? Ain't nobody allowing babies to be born and then they just execute them. Oh my goodness. But did he say it? He sure did. They've been playing it all day. And I'm like, man, this guy and
Wow,
people. So
wow.
you wonder how guys like Hitler and all these crazy people, back in the day, it was Caesar. Caesar
Joe
giving
Smith.
thumbs down, people die.
Sure, sure,
You see Caesar still
sure.
like 5'5", slight little guy. It's like, why are we following this
Wow.
person? Because it's not the person, it's
Yes,
the
sir.
people who prompt that person up.
Sure,
If Trump
sure.
can't elect himself president, he's going to have to be voted in by millions of people. He's already been convicted of what? How many crimes? 35? He has all these different trials going on. He tried to overthrow the government. He brought all those people down to Washington and he even called for Mike Pence to be hung. I mean, come on, man. And still he is not being held accountable. That's amazing to me. That is, he can say anything, do anything, but he calls Kamala Harris a liar. She's this or that. He makes fun of people. Do you realize that almost everybody supporting Trump that was in the political race against him, who he called names, he demeaned him a little bit. Do you realize that they're all down endorsing him? What
Wow,
is he
wow.
promising these people? And they showed us one guy who he really went after, and the guy that's now his vice president said he would never. He said Trump is the worst. He called Trump all kinds of names. All of a sudden, he changed his tune, and he wants to be part of the team now. And so he's a vice
Wow,
president. How
wow,
do you do that, man? You have
wow.
no integrity. You have no honesty. You just sell your soul. So we see people selling
Sure,
their souls every
sure,
day.
sure, sure.
Every day selling their
You
souls.
open that envelope and you look in that envelope.
Yeah. Well, it's like
You
what?
sure some of that hush money. Sure.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The
Sure.
hush money, all that stuff, man.
Sure.
It's like
I
wow.
heard I heard
And
so go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say it real quick. They and then they can put in place a Supreme Court, whether it's Republican or Democrat or whoever. They, and then those people vote in their interests. So they just gave Trump unusual power. He can commit a crime as long as he's in the office. He can commit a crime and not be held accountable for it.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
essentially what they've
Wow.
said.
Wow.
And it's like, are you serious? Well, the president, that's never been done before in this country. But all of a sudden, he has a 6-3 Supreme Court. So, and they all voted in favor of that. It's like, okay, so what do we do? Nothing, ain't nothing you can do. Yes, there is. Vote them all out. Yes, vote them out. You got to. But he's now stacked that court up to be really, and those guys have a lifetime appointment. Mistake.
Wow.
That's a mistake. Yeah. If I know you can't do nothing to me, I'm not up for election. I
Wow.
got a
Wow.
lifetime appointment. You have to die. That's the only thing y'all gonna do to get me out of here. Wow. And remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg, how powerful she was, but and also Thurgood Marshall, they had gotten so old and so infirmed that how could they even function? But they did until they died,
Wow.
you know. Neither one of them resigned. They kept on going, you know, just kept on going. I think since that I can remember. I think what was her name that stepped down? And she was really sick, so she stepped down, and then that gave an opening for Trump to come through and give somebody else. Um, oh man, I can't think of her. O'Connor, Sandra Day O'Connor. Yeah, she's the one. And so she's the only one that I know of, I think, that actually stepped down because she was so sick. I don't think she'd asked, but anyhow. Well, brother Chris, I'm gonna, say this. I always appreciate you, man, doing the show and everything, and I hope the people appreciate it too. I'm gonna work harder to bring more folks on, and I'm gonna also press people like Owens and Roe and anybody else. We haven't seen Wendy in a long time. Uh,
Sure, sure,
have you
sure.
talked to Wendy at all?
No, but I see, that Taft's still doing well as far as social media and her page. I
Yeah,
know she took a little hiatus, to focus on some things, more important things,
yeah,
as far as her family and, everyday life. But I know she's
yeah,
doing well, because,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
still at Wesley. Our studios are in the basement there.
Yeah.
So I know she's still, a part of Wesley and attends pretty frequently.
Okay.
If things are going well with Taft and, culinary school. But I haven't spoken to her maybe about
Easy.
2 months.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
over her house and showed my wife how to what they call braid with a crochet needle.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
She
I hear
came
you.
over and showed my wife how to do it, and now my wife's braiding with a crochet needle. So,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Sure. Well, I did see where Taft graduated.
yes, sir.
So
Yes,
fantastic.
sir.
Yeah, he graduated from school, man. I said, go ahead, Taft. That's good stuff, so yeah, that's great. But anyhow, but yeah, all these folks, man, they're really good and they're connected, so I'm just asking them to be a partner and continue to just do what you do. So folks, we're gonna end on this note tonight. We're gonna end a little bit early. And that is that we have a need for followers. All you gotta do, we know you white like the program. So if you come on, you just got to put it in search engine, Nathaniel Gadsden Writers Workshop, and then you come on and you hit follow. And we need as many as we can possibly get, and it'll help to this broadcast to be seen in many other places. So I want to thank Brother Chris Thomas for what he does. I want to thank you too. Whatever you're doing, be a blessing to somebody by going out and helping them along the way. And whatever you do, don't get discouraged. Keep on keeping on and have yourself a blessed night, okay? I'm going to call it quits tonight, but I hope to see you next Friday here on the Writers Workshop. Have yourself a wonderful Labor Day weekend.
Thank you, Dr.
Brother
Gaston.
Chris,
God bless you,
best
sir.
to you and your family, brother. Okay,
Thank
now
you,
God
man.
bless
Peace.
you.
We'll see you
All
next week
right.
now.
See you next week. Okay.